my dude?
What's going on, big guy?
Oh, not a lot. This is supposed to be an exciting game. What happened?
Well, it was exciting at the beginning because the Sharks are fast. The Canucks tightened up a little bit, but again, um, other than the goal that Besser got with Garland and Vilander there, still just struggling to generate anything 5-on-5. Um, some of that maybe uh, the early game, right? Taking time, not used to playing at 1 in the afternoon on their own coast. Some of it could still be the deployment thing. Like we do see some flashes of lines starting to build a little bit of chemistry with each other in the top six, but Kampf just doesn't belong on a line with Garland and Besser. He's out there for defensive purposes. Like in your top six, you want those guys out there, your best offensive guys out there, which is tough. We still can't really get a cycle going. We get the occasional forecheck, a turnover, and then we get a chance off of like a broken play, or we're getting a few chances off the rush. It's been a little bit frustrating. 5-on-5 for sure. The penalty kill, you can't take penalties against this team. They're really fast and young, so we saw what they can do on the power play. Hopefully the Canucks can come out and kill the power play in the second period. And, Tolopilo's looked pretty solid. I trust him more than Lankinen right now in the goalie depth. So hopefully the Canucks can prevent more of those high quality chances that they're being given up. But other than that, maybe they need to get a power play here, move their feet a little more. I know Garland trying to get involved, get under the other team's skin there, but we'll see.
The Vilander show continues, getting another assist on the goal, so that's now 3 assists in the last 2 games. More good signs from a young defenseman who has really been showing. So I'm going to give him an up. It was a second assist, but he still started that play. So we're definitely going to give him an up for that. And I would also give the up to Tolopilo, where I feel like I even through that first period, a smaller sample size, but it did seem like his rebound control was a little better too. So he was able to deflect those shots to the side rather than right out in front, which is something we saw Lankinen having real trouble with. So we're going to definitely be keeping an eye on that too as we go. But that would be, and that's the next question. Tolopilo starts today. Does that mean it's automatically Patera again tomorrow, being thrown to the Wolves in the second half of a back-to-back again?
I could be, right? Is an early game, so if they can limit the work that Tolopilo has for the rest of the game, maybe they go with Tolopilo tomorrow night. Patera wasn't bad in the games that he had to play so far. He's just so small, right? So he gives up so much of the top half of the net. It's hard to say what happens tomorrow night. Hopefully they can just focus on bearing down and getting a win here today against these Sharks.
Michael Bublé went on the Donnie and Dolly show yesterday, and it was after a storm on Instagram and other social media sites, making his thoughts known about the current situation in the Canucks fan base, in the Canucks organization. What did you see from him when he was on with Donnie and Dolly yesterday?
I just saw a passionate fan who wants, the best for the team. He also understands the game, being an owner of the Vancouver Giants for a lot of these years, and he knows plenty of the people personally and has conversations with higher ups, right? Because he is, a well-known Vancouver area celebrity, especially this time of year. Everyone knows who Michael Bublé is this time of year. He basically said he believes in the management, and I mean, it's tough. Is he going to say what he means publicly, or is he going to protect some of those so-called friendships he talked about? Some stuff I agree with what he said. Definitely the Sarah Valley comment was the quote of the year, calling it, if he's a Canucks insider, then the 40-year-old virgin was a porn star. is probably the best thing I've ever heard in my life. But other than that, I mean, I just saw a guy who cares, right? And he just wants this team to improve. He understands that they've been trying to retool on the fly, and he gets that sometimes veterans have to be traded to get younger. But, you know, we've heard the song and dance from management before, right? Like last year at the trade deadline, all the veterans were supposed to be going, especially expiring contracts, and then they didn't do that. They've re-signed Besser, who has had a good 2 games in a row here, has another goal to go with the assist last game, and has looked better, a lot more chances. So that's been good, but they put a lot of eggs into that basket again, kind of like a middling winger if he doesn't have the centerman to set him up to score or a playmaker to set him up to score. It's been nice having Garland there. They start to get a little bit of chemistry going. So if we could get them a proper second line center, then maybe there's something there. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what else they can do. And he didn't really know where to go other than, you know, the fans need to stick by the team as best we can and try and be positive. And yeah, sometimes it's going to hurt, but we got to hope we come out better on the other end.
Yeah. Yeah. We love having a guy like Michael Bublé on our side. Another guy we like having on our side is Hunter, who's in the chat, showing up for this afternoon game, dropping another 5 gifted memberships, early Christmas gifts, going out to Kruggles, Donnie Bluebone, Emmanuel. Oh, no, not Emmanuel. Sorry, Emmanuel. Smirky Mixer, Kenneth Pete, and Mr. Rainbow Boy, all getting free gifted memberships, courtesy of our legendary dono master, Mr. Hunter. So thank you very much, Hunter, for yet again opening up your wallet for the Dobby College Education Fund and helping us out here. So we appreciate you very much, my dude. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I know you hate talking about deployment, but here we go again. Räty gets taken out of the lineup. But I mean, Reichel got in. You wanted Reichel in, right? That's exactly what you wanted. But monkey paw wish. What happened?
Oh man, like they're putting up the middle, and the poor kid, like he hasn't experienced Vancouver, right? So I don't know how much he, you know, goes online and or what he hears from the media, but obviously he knows that. I mean, he can't not know he's kind of on the trade block again. He has an agent who likely hears those things. I worry that he's going to try to do too much now, even at the center position. And if they're really going to showcase him to try and get any value out of him, they should play him at his position that he's been the most comfortable with and most successful at, and that's the wing. So again, I get why Räty came out. He hasn't had the greatest couple games. So maybe he did need a bit of a rest, but it's hard when they don't have the depth at center. Bluger's still in a non-contact jersey at practice, so we have no idea when he's actually going to come back or be available. If he is available, they might trade him before he even comes back because he's one of those expiring contract veterans, right? So, I don't know. Like, he didn't look horrible out there, but again, then you move Sasson out of a spot where he's comfortable. Baines shouldn't be in the lineup. He's the one who probably should be out of the lineup, and Reichel should be on the wing. But, you know, Baines just needs to go back to the AHL, especially when you take careless penalties like you did at the end of the period. Like, you can't fly by like that and just not have control of your stick. It's careless, and it costs the team, and it could cost them early here in the second period if they don't kill off this penalty.
Yeah, it was Baines, but it felt more like a Kane penalty. But you know, somehow their names rhyme, so maybe Baines has been cursed because his name rhymes with Kane. So now we're getting into the I'm reading the tea leaves probably a little bit too much on that one, but a little bit of interesting news. Bury didn't play a lot of years for the Vancouver Canucks. But we now have EP40, who has just tied Bury for the, the 7th all-time in Canucks scoring. So I can bring this up for you guys. So EP40 in 478 games 495 games, has 478 points, which ties him with Bury, who only played 428. So not a huge discrepancy between that. But I would like, the one thing that really popped out for me when I looked at this was that EP40 is a plus 41, while in the same time, Mr. Bublé was a plus 17, which, I mean, obviously he was a bit more of a power play merchant for anyone who didn't get the pleasure of watching him when he was the Canucks. I mean, I was 10, but what does that say for you about EP40 moving up that list higher into that top 10, and now he's got Gradine in his sights?
I mean, I think it speaks to the type of player that he is. And yes, he's struggling to get back to that form of being a 100-point player. But it doesn't happen overnight, and we're seeing more and more of it every game. The other thing that stands out with Pettersson that Bublé never would have done is the way he lays out to block shots. Even at the end of the first period there, when they lost the faceoff with 6 seconds left, he fully laid out to try and block that slap shot. It missed him and missed the net, but had that hit him, it wouldn't have felt good. And you don't see a lot of star players that put themselves in that position. And, you know, no matter what Petey does, this fan base never seems to be happy with him. They always try to find something he needs to be doing better. And, you know, of course, I think he could be scoring more. He should be shooting more, but it's going to take a little bit of time. And, you know, with where the team is at as a whole, it's, you know, hard to not look at what he's done so far this season and say, oh, he's been our most consistent player at both ends of the ice. And he's been that kind of his whole career. His defense didn't show as much when he was scoring 110 points, but that side of his game has always been there. He's always been responsible in the own end. And you never really worry when he has the puck that he's going to turn it over or lose it necessarily. But, you know, the physical things are always going to be a knock. How he gets pushed off the puck a little too easily sometimes, or can't stay on his feet. But, you know, if you watch another team's full 82 games in the season, you're going to find faults with their star players as well, because when you only see highlights from around the league, that's all you get. You know, you think that all star players don't make mistakes, but when you watch around the league and you see some highlights like, you know, JT Miller in New York, or there's guys in the, you know, there's times where Sidney Crosby makes mistakes too, and you don't see it unless you're watching those games. So I think a lot of the issue is that there's no real support. I don't think he's necessarily the guy to fully drive the team. I think he needs to be part of a pair. And unfortunately, they just don't have that secondary guy. Like, you look around and how Celebrini has Smith and McDavid has Draisaitl. Right now, Pettersson has Besser, and Besser's not a guy who's going to push the energy, right? He's more of a guy that falls back, relies on his line mates to generate for him. And so I think they still need a high energy guy, similar to when Kuzmenko was here and just kind of allowed to be his offensive self. It worked because Pettersson was able to pick up the slack defensively. And so, you know, I'd love to see someone more dynamic like that, that's got a little more speed. I know Lecker-Mackey is close to getting back into this lineup. I'm interested to see where he slots in right now, because the right side is kind of jam-packed with right-handed shots. So, yeah, it's hard to say where we go from here, but, you know, I hope that we can get more consistency in our 5-on-5 play, like I keep harping on. Keep coming back to it, but 5-on-5, we have to be better, because that's where the majority of the game is played.
So we actually have time for Matt Damon today, which is a very rare thing. But I wanted to get to them because they have a back-to-back coming up tonight and tomorrow against the Tucson Roadrunners. And for anyone who hasn't seen where the Tucson Roadrunners sit, they are the second worst team in the Pacific Division. So if there was ever a time where the Abbotsford Canucks season could take a turn, what do you think the odds are that the Canucks can come out of Arizona with a couple dubs?
Trending off of pushing the one of the top teams in the Pacific to OT. You know, they've been doing a little better every game, slowly getting healthier as the time goes on. Obviously, the goaltending there is going to be a bit of a question mark right now with both Tolopilo and Patera up with the big club. So defensively, they're going to have to play really tight, which we know Manny and his system does do. It's just the mistakes can't keep costing them, so they're going to have to stay out of the penalty box, keep this game 5-on-5 as much as they can, and try and limit any shots from the middle and keep everything to the outside. And hopefully they're probably going to have to win these games like, 2-0, 2-1. They're going to have to try and keep the scoring down and play a little more defensive and just try and push when there's a mistake happening or they get a power play, and just kind of be patient because they just don't have the talent, unfortunately, right now to be gambling with giving up odd man rushes or putting their goalies in situations where it's going to be too hard on them.
Does game open up here in the second period?
We'll see. San Jose is definitely going to push fast here on the rest of their power play out of off the puck drop. So that might dictate how the rest of the period goes. If they bury one early here, if the Canucks can kill it or kill it off and get one themselves early, may open it up. But San Jose tends to play a similar game to Anaheim where it's wide open. They're a little less experienced on the back end when it comes to their rebuild than Anaheim. So the Canucks may be able to exploit the San Jose defense a little better. But hopefully they can just kill this power play off and reset and keep it 1-1 and then just go from there. Try and play a little more of their game, which whatever that game is.
Maybe we'll get to see tonight. Who knows? Awesome, Dustin. Thank you very much for joining us for the Wrestling Dusty Sideshow. We'll chat again in the post-game show.
Sounds good. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Nothing is perfect.